Good day, my friends, watching this Bible study on YouTube. Today we're going to be taking a brief look at the book of Zephaniah, one of the minor prophets of the Old Testament, and we're doing it in a small home study. That's really a nice way to share the word, get some friends who believe in God and believe in the word and gather around it. Now, Zephaniah is one of those books that is rarely studied in the family of God, and very little is known about it. But nonetheless, it's important, with some important information. Zephaniah was a fourth generation descendant of King Hezekiah and possibly a princely cousin to the good King Josiah, who was reigning at his time. The book was written sometime before 621 BC and no doubt influenced many of the religious reforms instituted by King Josiah in 622 BC. 50 years had elapsed since the prophecy of Nahum, and the people of Judah had fallen into all manner of idolatry and moral decay. Two wicked kings had preceded King Josiah, and social injustice and corruption was rife in the land. So the Lord speaks through his prophet Zephaniah to warn of God's extreme displeasure and judgment. He depicts God as both very severe and also loving. But the Lord disciplines those that he loves, as it is told to us in Hebrews 12 verse 6. And I'm going to ask my brother Jeff to read one of the very severe prophecies.
And this reading starts off with a heavy introduction. Judgment on the whole earth in the day of the Lord. I will sweep away everything from the face of the earth, declares the Lord. I will sweep away both man and beast. I will sweep away the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea, and the idols that cause the wicked to stumble. When I destroy all mankind on the face of the earth, declares the Lord, I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all who live in Jerusalem. I will destroy every remnant of Baal worship in this place, the very names of the idolatrous priests, those who bow down on the roofs to worship the starry host, those who bow down and swear by the Lord, and who also swear by Molech, those who turn back from following the Lord and neither seek the Lord nor inquire of him. What a terrible picture that is of the world that we live in today, and a picture of what God feels about it and the wrath that he is going to bring. And the sad part I find is the people who should be leaders in God's kingdom turn away from him, go one side and the other, and God's wrath is going to be poured out on them.
Wow, that is heavy. That is so heavy. But then the Lord says through Zephaniah in chapter 1 verse 7, "Be silent before the sovereign Lord, for the day of the Lord is near." Now the day of the Lord is mentioned 7 times by Zephaniah. This is the Lord speaking to all of us, even now. Be silent before the sovereign Lord, he says. The psalmist says it, "Be still and know that I am God," in Psalm 46 verse 10. Habakkuk says, "Let all the earth keep silent before him." We fill our lives with noise. We fill our lives with the sound of our own voices. But sometimes we're stunned by the greatness and the awesomeness of God. Like when we gaze upon a newborn baby, or when we walk to the edge of the Grand Canyon, or see the firmaments. He takes not only our breath away, but we are silent before the sovereign Lord.
Nighttime in the desert, when there's no outside lights at all, and you look up and see the host of stars, and they are so breathtakingly beautiful, and we are shocked into silence before the Lord.
One day I got in the car ready to drive to church, and in the passenger seat there was a little blue wren, and they're my favourite birds. And I was silent because what a wonderful passenger to have, this beautiful little blue wren, and it sat in that seat until I had time to turn around and take it home again. It was beautiful.
I remember sitting many times on my front patio and just looking out over the beauty that the Lord has created and looking at the colours of the leaves that only He can change. And I sit in awe and wonder about our wonderful God. There are no words that can describe that. It's just He's given it for all of us to enjoy.
Now Zephaniah goes on to prophesy against the surrounding neighbours and accurately describes the downfall of Nineveh. But in chapter 3 we see amazing grace and the love of God for His people.
Reading from Zephaniah 3, verse 9. Then will I purify the lips of the peoples, that all of them may call on the name of the Lord and serve Him shoulder to shoulder. From beyond the rivers of Cush, my worshippers, my scattered people, will bring me offerings. On that day, you will not be put to shame for all the wrongs you have done to me, because I will remove them from this city, those who rejoice in their pride. Never again will you be haughty on my holy hill, but I will leave within you the meek and the humble who trust the name of the Lord. The remnant of Israel will do no wrong. They will speak no lies, nor will deceit be found in their mouths. They will eat and lie down, and no one will make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion, shout aloud, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all your heart. O daughter of Jerusalem, the Lord has taken away your punishment. He has turned back your enemy. The Lord, the King of Israel, is with you. Never again will you fear my harm or any harm. On that day they will say to Jerusalem, do not fear, O Zion. Do not let your hands hang limp. Then the Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. He will take great delight in you, and He will quiet you with His love. He will rejoice over you with singing.
He will joy over thee with singing. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty, is mighty, is mighty. You know, God is always with us. But if we turn our backs on Him, if we neither seek Him nor inquire of Him, we will not be saved. Without faith we cannot please God. He will not rejoice over us and joy over us with His singing. But when we acknowledge Him and trust Him, inquire of Him and listen to Him, He comes in the midst of us and rests in His love with us in fellowship. Zephaniah is saying to us today, be silent before a sovereign Lord. Turn from our selfish and idolatrous ways. Inquire of Him and watch Him joy over you with singing. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty, is mighty. He will save, will rejoice over thee with joy, with joy. He will rest in His love. He will joy over thee with singing. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty, is mighty, is mighty. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That's good.
Well, if you're enjoying our Aussie Bible studies, why don't you join us for the next one? Just click on the button on your screen. The next book we're going to be studying is the book of Haggai. So thanks for watching with us, and you have a great day.
Yes.